Hey guys, Daniel Constable here. You're probably here because you're trying to decide whether you should visit Colombia or you should visit Peru. We spent about 6 months in Colombia in 2017 and we spent about 5 months in Peru in 2017. So I have a pretty good idea of what things are like both from a tourist perspective as well as from someone who's staying longer term. Maybe you're working remotely, for example. We worked as freelancers. So I kind of have a good idea on both ends of the spectrum. Now, if you're here just for my opinion on which one you should visit, if you're a tourist, I recommend that you visit Peru, and if you're someone who is staying longer term, like if you're a remote worker, I recommend that you go to Colombia. And so I'm going to break it down a little bit further. There are a few different categories that I'm going to talk about in case you want some more information about why I think that. So I'm going to be talking about tourism in each country. I'm going to be talking about infrastructure, food, entertainment, to give you a much better idea of why I think that. So let's start with tourism. So between the two countries, the tourism in Peru I found to be better. Not that tourism in Colombia is bad. There are a bunch of beautiful beaches, Cartagena, San Andres Island. There are parks like Tayrona. Medellin and Bogota are both interesting cities to see, Guatape. You know, there's a lot of great stuff in Colombia. With that said, in Peru, Machu Picchu alone, in my opinion, is better than anything in the entire country of Colombia. I found Machu Picchu to be just absolutely incredible. And then there's beautiful national parks, there's great hiking, there's a lot of really accessible nature. And so for one, I think that the things to see in Peru are better, but they're also easier to see. And what I mean by that is that there are a lot of tour agencies, whether you're actually in the country or whether you are just searching online. It's way easier to get to the tourist destinations in Peru. You don't want to spend your week-long vacation in Colombia trying to plan out everything on your own if you're a little bit strapped for time. So tourism in Peru is better, in my opinion. Now, with that said, if you're someone who wants to stay longer and you're concerned about infrastructure, I found the infrastructure in Colombia to be better. Better Wi-Fi, nicer metro, better grocery stores, all of these different kinds of things. If you're talking about day-to-day living infrastructure between the two countries, Colombia is a little bit nicer. As well as entertainment. Again, if you're someone looking for a longer term stay, this might not apply to you as much if you're on a short vacation. But I found the entertainment to be better in Colombia as well. There are a lot of the nightlife in Medellin and Bogota is great, and of course you can find good nightlife in Peru, especially in Lima. But we spent time in cities like Huaraz and Arequipa, and we didn't really find there to be a lot of nightlife or things going on outside of Lima. And so if you're looking for that kind of thing, I would recommend Colombia. For food, this one is a bit of a touchy subject, but I'm not talking about Colombian food versus Peruvian food. I'm talking about overall food between the two countries, okay? Now, Lima is a world-class food destination, I will give you that. There are a ton of great restaurants in Lima, but Lima is just one city in an entire country. Okay, so we found a lot of good food there in Lima, but in Arequipa, Huaraz, Huacachina, all these other places, I didn't find the food to be anything particularly amazing. However, in Colombia, I found there to be a lot of great options, both in Bogota and Medellin and Cartagena. There was some pretty good food. So overall, you know, that's not even talking about the food available in the grocery stores. Overall, I found the food to be better in Medellin as opposed to Peru. If you're someone who's concerned about safety, you hear a lot of stuff on the news, you hear about the cartels, you hear about the violence in South America. As a tourist, I never found myself in a situation where I felt unsafe, whether I was in Colombia or whether I was in Peru. We pretty much lived our normal life. We went out at night on the weekends, we walked around the cities by ourselves, and we never had any problems. We never felt unsafe at all in either country. The people were very kind in both places. Now, with that said, of course, if you're not using your common sense, there can be some issues in both countries. I would say statistically, Colombia is maybe a little bit more dangerous. But as long as you're smart, as long as you take care of yourself, you pay attention to your surroundings, all that kind of stuff, I don't think you're going to find that you feel unsafe at all in almost everywhere in both of those countries. So, I weigh tourism, especially for tourists, pretty heavily. I'm someone who absolutely loves nature. I love being outside. And because of that, I just found Peru to be a way more fun destination. It was really easy to get to the stuff, to get to the trails, to see all the beautiful landscape that Peru has to offer, and that weighs very heavily for me as a tourist. If you're not looking for nature, then maybe Colombia would be better, but in my opinion, for a tourist, Peru is the place to go. I would go back tomorrow if I could. It's a really amazing place. And again, if you're a remote worker, Colombia is better hands down. The Wi-Fi is better. There are more expats there. There's more of a startup scene if that's your thing. It's just a better place to be for remote workers. So if you agree with me, disagree with me, want to ask a question, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you next time.